This is Stephanie from statisticshowto.com, and in this video I'm going to briefly go over what a rejection region is. In this video I'm going to assume you know how to calculate alpha levels from confidence levels. If you don't, then please check out my previous video on how to calculate those. But let's say you had a 95% confidence level, and that would give us an alpha level of 5%. Let's start with the one-tailed test. This area, this tail, is going to be our alpha level of 5%, and the remainder of the distribution is 95%. So this entire area is the alpha level. It's sometimes written as a decimal, 0.05. You'll see it like this. What it means is this area is the probability you're going to incorrectly reject the null hypothesis, and you're going to run a hypothesis test. This point right here, this line right here, if this is a normal distribution, you're going to find a z-value, and a z-value corresponding to a tail of 5% is 1.96. And when you run your hypothesis test, you're going to get a z-value. And if your z-value falls into this rejection region here, this alpha level, let's say we had a z of 2.0. Well, 2.0 is larger than 1.96. It's going to fall into this region, and we could reject the null hypothesis. Let's say instead you had two tails. Again, with that 95%, now we have 5% in two tails. The area has to equal 100%. So each tail is going to have 2.5%, and you're going to get a critical value for z here and a critical value for z here. And this area, the alpha level, this is your rejection region. So the alpha level equals the rejection region. This is what you start with before your test. Then you run your test, you get a z-score from your test, and if it falls into this region, you reject the null hypothesis. Another term you might see banded around connected to the rejection region is a p-value. Some statistical tests will spit out a p-value. You might get a p-value of 0.2. Basically, the p-value is also a kind of rejection region. Let's say we've got our 95% confidence level. We have our 5% alpha, and it's split into two, so we have alpha divided by 2. Now the rule is if your p-value is smaller than your alpha level, then you would reject the null hypothesis. The problem that most people have is they look at this value of 0.02 and it doesn't make any sense. Well, if I change this to a percentage, which would be 2%, of p-value of 2% is saying there is a small area in the tail here that's 2%. If the area of your p-value is smaller than the area of your alpha level, you can reject the null hypothesis. So that's what they say. If there's a very small p-value, then you reject the null hypothesis. You basically compare it to the alpha level that you picked in the first place. That's a brief introduction to rejection regions. You can find more videos and articles on everything from alpha levels to p-values and how to calculate confidence intervals on our website, statisticshowto.com.